Vancouver as a city, squished between the mountains and the ocean, is regularly voted one of the most beautiful cities in the world. However, when it comes to building design, mediocre is the word that you see most often. Now, things are changing for sure, like the development we'll be looking at today, the Curv. Designed by British architect Tom Wright, and if that name doesn't mean anything, well, he's the guy who designed the Burj Al Arab. You know, the world's first unofficial 7-star hotel. So, needless to say, Vancouver's Skyline is about to get a bit more interesting. Spearheaded by the Montreal-based Bravia Group, the Curv is slated to be the world's tallest passive house. More on that shortly. And Vancouver's tallest residential high-rise being built on the highest point of downtown Vancouver. The pinnacle of luxury living, which is a big undertaking in this city. Nelson's Park is just a stone's throw away and the iconic Davie Village but a mere pebble's throw after that. Living here means you're going to be surrounded by great restaurants, fitness centres, grocery stores, high fashion and much, much more. But to talk about that, I think we need to take a look at something a bit more tangible. Whoa. Okay, now I see where this thing is getting its name from. This is impressive. Standing at 585.5 feet, and, fun fact, the Curv, despite its impressive size, can actually fit inside Tom Wright's previous masterpiece, the Burj Al Arab, nearly 2 times over. The Curv promises to deliver a total of 504 residential units that include 358 market condo units. And while it is clearly making use of the space above the ground, it is also building down, with 11 levels of underground parking for 299 vehicles and over 1,000 spaces for bicycles. All sounds pretty impressive, right? Well, that's because one of the really interesting things about building high in Vancouver is the criteria you have to meet to get permission from the city these days. Essentially, Vancouver's higher building policy requires these taller towers to establish a significant and recognisable new benchmark for architectural creativity and excellence, while making a significant contribution to the beauty and visual power of Vancouver's skyline, forcing developers to innovate when they enter the downtown market. Another somewhat intriguing part of the Curv strategy is to sell floors under different names depending on how high up you are in the building and the amenities you get. Condos are starting from the 21st floor, known as the Horizon Collection, and takes you all the way up to the 52nd. Now, these suites have engineered wood floors, porcelain tiled bathroom finishes, quartz kitchen counters and details, and a choice of 3 palettes. Floor 53 to floor 58 is the Sky Collection, offering the best views and premium finishes and appliances, such as wine fridges, all within an array of larger suite choices. As for the tippy top, well, let me show you. Here we have what the Curv are calling the Haven, complete with pool, meeting and lounge spaces, wine room, yoga studio, virtual driving range, and much, much more. Least of all, some of the most impressive views you will ever get of downtown Vancouver. And this is where the Curv will be when it is expected to be completed in 2029. Now, standing here, you notice something else about this street. Curv's proximity to another architecturally varied building in downtown, the Butterfly. Both are being built side by side, both are taking inspiration from nature and curved lines, and both are pushing the boundaries of residential architecture in a part of the city that isn't really known for crazy building design. Right here on Nelson Street, where the Curv is going to be one day, is really smack dab in the middle of the West End, surrounded by low and mid-rise buildings. And the big question over everyone's head is, how will these 2 Goliaths fit in with the more relaxed vibe of the community? Nelson Park will be your playground when you live at the Curv, with dog parks, basketball courts and farmers market every Saturday in the warmer months. Now, Vancouver's used to seeing ultra high-end luxury towers along Cole Harbour and even wrapping around the Falls Creek area. So these 2 towers are somewhat of an anomaly here. But this more residential living means you're only a couple of hundred meters away from elementary and secondary schools, and a short walk to some of the most prestigious third-level education in Canada. When you get tired of making use of the hot tubs in your building, you can potter down to the Vancouver Aquatic Centre for some high diving, or boogie the night away in Davie Village. A couple of hundred meters in the opposite direction, and you're hitting Vancouver's shopping district on Robson Street, full of all the Pradas, Louis Vuitton and Hermes that your little heart desires. Finally, these kind of projects in the city have a huge knock-on effect for other industry. The Curv is required to provide $9.4 million in development cost levies and $658,000 of public art. So get ready for another controversial chandelier coming to a downtown near you. But let's be real. Most of you who are looking at buying into the Curv are not buying it because of its proximity to a park. The building itself and the units are where the magic really lies here. So first off, what is this passive house thing that I spoke about earlier? Well, passive house, or passive Haus as it is known in German, is a design standard that delivers healthy, comfortable and efficient buildings. It takes a fabric-first approach. The focus of the design is ensuring that the thermal envelope, the layer that separates inside from outside, is optimized to provide comfortable and healthy indoor conditions. Considered to be the most rigorous voluntary energy-based standard in the design and construction industry today. The Curv aims to be the tallest passive house in the world when it is built, a beacon of sustainable engineering, and it is expected that it will quickly become a blueprint for future towers in cities around the globe. The idea of a super tall passive house tower is especially fitting for a city like Vancouver, with such high environmental aspirations. What does this mean for you, the buyer, though? Well, in short, less fees. Whether that be in strata, which are coming out at an alarmingly low 66 cents per square foot, or even just your heating and cooling bills. Interior-wise, these homes are looking particularly impressive. From Colombian-born Andres Escobar, in collaboration with New York's Leme ID, they aim to use what they call noble materials to accentuate the building's quality. Now, this results in details like the fluted stone and fluted glass walls in the residential lobby, along with a white stone concierge desk and all over silver light porcelain tile flooring, which is a standard that is expected to be carried through the floor plan itself. And in terms of floor plans, what we are seeing here would be part of the Sky collection. Pricing can always fluctuate, but at the time of recording this video, you can expect to pay around $3.3 million for this kind of unit. Now, there are obviously smaller units than this 1,161 foot giant, like the 1.5 bed bath spanning 541 square feet and expected to start at a far more respectable 1.1 million. If you are looking at buying into the Curv, you'll need a deposit of 15%. And if you're looking to buy pre-sale, potentially do an assignment, then come and talk to the guys on Burrard Street today, and who knows, you might time it right and be able to nab one of their very appealing incentives. Okay, so the Curv. There are some people who may think this project is not what Vancouver needs. And while that is not a debate I'm getting into in this video, it's worth noting that the Curv is projected to accommodate 50 market rental units and 96 social housing units. Also, when I said earlier that the Curv would be the tallest passive house in the world, I forgot to mention that they would ultimately surpass the current record holder by nearly 30 stories. Innovation will always be met with criticism, but I am confident that the Curv will rise above to be an iconic part of the Vancouver skyline.